Hello everyone, I am Tacit, and welcome to the Gems of All Campaign 13 week, gosh, why do I forget what week it is? I know it's day 4, week 6, day 4. So today, of course, we got ourselves a class event, Monk Hero class. Monk's actually rather interesting. I don't feel like I use it too often, but it does do a few things very well. Most notable is that it has the most amount of resistances of any hero class while having 3 mana accumulation per extra turn. So there's some weird situations where you either full mana block it or just have it so you can end up constantly casting it with like an extra turn weapon like Rope Dart, or ends up utilizing that. Has Stone Tree, so you know it's Barrier Brown hero class, which means it has vast competition with Elementalists and like every other billion other one that exists. But the most relevant thing is that it has Cleanse on extra turn, while also having immune to freeze if it wants instead. But as Cleanse on extra turn into the highest amount of immunities of any hero class. It gets to cleanse per extra turn while having immune to stun off its Stone Tree. So it has the highest amount of immunities of any hero class, which is its main benefit. It's really hard to kill normally. But compared to Elementals, just doesn't tend to get used too often, as very rarely can you get enough value from its 3 extra mana per extra turn. Also, how's the connection? Why is it being weird? Hold up. That's weird. I'm losing frames. I see the thing. Wait, are we lagging? Are we lagging? Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Let me start from the top. Hello, Ricardo. Hello, Gimli. But yeah, my connection seems so much worse all of a sudden. Okay, now it just went better all of a sudden, too. Okay, hopefully it was just right at the beginning. Anyways, hello, Ricardo. Hello, Gimli. Hello, Isabel. Hello, Roman. Hello, hello, Lester. Hello, Tyrion. Hello, Jason. Hello, Supernova. Hello, everyone else. Welcome, 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 welcome. Alright, so let's start with the class event. Of course, we'll go over the team, or mess with the team that we went over on Monday, which is pretty much just spamming extra mana. We don't have any extra mana links, if I'm not mistaken, from this kingdom. However, we do have some pretty good mana accumulators. So Diviner just being a standard converter, while also having potential magic gain. And Tolio just for the mana spam, and we're kind of going from there. So, hello, George. Hello, joyful Dragonfly. Hello, Sushi Ninja. Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope all you guys have been having a wonderful week so far. Anyways, let's go do this. Do I have this on copy paste? Let me make sure I do. It looks like I do. Let's go bring this over to the Clash Trial. Go get our free 25 gems real quick, as is kind of tradition on Thursday. Overall, of course, the value of doing class event, probably one of the worst value events there are. It's one of the reasons we only do the free battles, because going any further is very bad value. Like, really, really bad. And of course, we got a new faction tomorrow. The new faction for the new kingdom, which is so double new. So we'll be having that, bringing it up to, I think, 6 star, I think, actually. It seems like it should go to 7, but I'm pretty sure it only goes to 6, because of how many copies you need for the earlier stuff. Yeah, we'll be getting extra thing there. Unfortunately, the troops coming in don't seem that good. They're all choice mechanic, but they're pretty underwhelming choice mechanics. But I don't know, well, we'll find something to use out of some of them. Regardless, there'll be 4 new troops coming in, a new weapon coming in, and a new pet going in. Of course, the pet being associated to the new faction itself. So, good handful of things. And we'll go over that. I hope to have a video on that in the morning. As well as the video I meant to cover today, coming up soon after it. I didn't have time to record it today, but I still want to cover it. So we'll cover both of them around the same time. Videos might not be up at the same time, but I want to get them recorded around the same time. Because YouTube doesn't like when you post, like, videos right on top of each other. You gotta let one of the other videos breathe. These are really weird if you, like, try posting, like, 2 videos within, like, the same hour or something similar. Hello, Andrew! Hello, Draco! Welcome, welcome. Alright, let's see. I kind of want to cascade that. We did not get it. It was worth a shot. You miss every cascade you don't try. Hey, we're about to gain a level too. You know what? We'll hand out a code when we get that level. Because might as well. It is pretty much going to be a farming stream. We're opening a lot of Volkies like we did last night. Because this weekend we probably won't be opening as much since we're going to be going through the faction. We are doing 500 Pure Faction this weekend. Something we haven't done in what seems like forever. I can't remember the last time. It has to have been almost a year ago, right? When was the last new faction? It's been a very long time, so... yeah, it's not something that comes around too often, of course, since they only come around when a new kingdom comes around. And New Kingdom comes around relatively rarely. Like, it's not like a normal one where we just go for all rewards. We are going all the way. Which does mean we have to buy a little deep into it. A couple thousand gems and all that. But I think we have the reserves good to go, so it shouldn't matter too much. Hello, Logic Slayer. Welcome, welcome. You're doing the class event using the Cobbletine wand. Interesting. With the Mashu, the Guardian, Empower. Oh yeah, I didn't use any. Was there an Empower? Wait, Guardian Power. Which one had Empower? I think when I was looking at it earlier, I might have overlooked it. What is the Empower from this kingdom? Why did I forget which one it is? From Shentang. Empower, Empower, Empower. Wait, never mind. Wait, is there not Empower? I'm confused. I was gonna say, because I don't think I saw Empower earlier when I was team building. Let's see. What do we need here? But sometimes I do just completely overlook it when I'm making a video. Also, hello, Dwight. Welcome, welcome. So hello, Dronian as well. We can't cascade that, otherwise he gets the brown. We'll stick a red there. Oh, Emperor. I was gonna say. It looked like Empower for a second. Okay, Emperor makes sense. I was very confused for a second. That makes a lot more sense. Oh, what do we want here? We need 3 manas and not a single one's available somehow. Amazing. Oh, I'll take the yellow there. Also, Diviner, really good troop that used to be used quite a bit more. The main reason it's kind of gotten phased out of ever being used, I would say, is mostly due to 2 things. Destroys being so good, and just a single converters like that just not being used much these days, like Giant Spider, which is good, Apothecary, that's good. Like, a lot of those kind of troops aren't used as much, and she's one of those kind of troops. But, I don't know, just, like, the combination of Empower existing, the Destroy troops, and just Converters getting kind of phased out because Gem Spawners getting slightly phased out. Like, Gem Spawners still work, but very rarely, is it done through the single Converter troops anymore. Which is kind of interesting, because the Choice Mechanic weapon that has that mechanic actually isn't that bad. The one from the paid side of the Kingdom Pass. Speaking of which, I need to go do the crowns for that still, too. But, like, that one's not as bad, but that's because it's on a hero. A lot of these other ones, like, the only one that's really used in the current state of the game is used indirectly. And it's, once again, through hero, in a way. The Orb Weaver hero class. Because the Orb Weaver summons Giant Spider. So you don't actually use Giant Spider, it simply is, you know, it just gets rendered onto your team. Also, this is enough, right? You're half plus enchant. Oh wait, I miscalculated somewheres. Oh no! It's boost ratio! I thought it was half. I was gonna say, that would have been really broken if it was half. I know it effectively almost gives half to a lot of units, but yeah, it's not actually half. It can be with enough boost ratio, it can actually be more than half. But no, it's 6 plus the 4 to 1 boost ratio, plus enchant, which is 2. Which by means by minimum it'll just do 8. Which is probably why I feel like it feels like half. But it's not actually half. Unless your mana cost is like 16 or lower, in which case it is guaranteed half or higher. But higher mana cost can't get as much from it. It's an interesting troop. I used to build some weird teams with like double Tulio. Not for that long. It was like a fun mana accumulation option. It only really works for green and yellow though. Like, it has to have overlap with itself. And if it doesn't, you can't really use it properly. Because the whole point of it is to feed back into yourself. Kind of like how, like, Triple Dwarven Gate works and stuff like that. Because the whole premise is that it just keeps going. Or, like, Triple Finesse. Speaking of which, I actually forgot what the color restriction is for this weekend. We might actually be able to run Triple Finesse. I completely forgot off the top of my head. Actually, we go check it real quick. Maybe it's red-blue, so we wouldn't be able to. What's the color for tomorrow? Because we already know what it is. It's over here. It is the color of... Somewhere's on this page says a color. I forget. Oh, duh, the banner. It's red yet green. Oh, yeah, so we can't run the other thing. Interesting. Red-green. We have access to all the Rowan stuff. Red-green, red-green. Does this mean we don't have Iron Gut? We do have Zugoff, though. We do have Marilith. We do have, like, the, like, good old Leprechaun. There's some good options in there. Not all the best options, but there's still some pretty good ones in there. Like, lower level range, probably going to be Rowan, quick kill. Higher level range, quite a bit of flexibility. Probably something based around Marilith, Zolgoth. Though there will be a few other options. I wonder how Diamantia does at high level delves. I'm pretty sure it would fall off by then. It's like an upper mid-level wiper. Kind of like how Phoenicia is, except even more damage than that. Like, troops like that kind of fall off at the super high stat range. Like 300 plus delves, 400 plus delve. Oh yeah, we do have Venoxia. I've never been a fan of the consistency of Venoxia ever since it got Gem Spawn nerf. Though it is strong. I'm not sure if I would use it as my main option, though. I don't know, we'll see. We have a bunch of different team builds for the thing. Yeah, Farstorm Mirage Queen teams are a lot of fun. We do have access to Truffle with it too, and Beatrix if we need. The Beatrix is a little bit less needed in delves. Like, the main reason Beatrix is used on a team is because you need a cleanse, because hero classes use so many stats effects, or, you know, just player-made teams generally utilize so many stats effects. But in the context of delves, Truffle actually gets used quite a bit more, for two reasons. One is it can infinite loop, particularly with Forest Troll, particularly with Greenstorm. Whereas, like, absolute infinite loop. But also, you don't really need cleanse as much. If anything, you actually need to spell. It's kind of weird. Because in more PvP-like situations, you need cleanse far more than you need spell. Which actually the exact opposite for delves. You need to spell a lot more than you need cleanse. And the main reason for this is due to that one perk that can occur on one of the tier 5 rooms where they gain Submerge. So if you're doing a team that hits all enemies simultaneously, through whatever means you happen to be doing it from, which is pretty much every team other than insta-kill teams, almost, or skull spam teams. In those situations, you need Dispel, so that whenever that room pops up, you don't have to worry about it, or skip it, or do anything like that. You can simply just Dispel away the Submerge after they cast, and be good to go. And you always have to have a precaution for it with an AoE team, just because they could have an Empower, and then they get Empower first turn Submerge, and then you can't do anything to them. So you kind of need a way to do something to them. Even an infinite loop Truffle won't touch it without the Dispel. And there we go, our clean 25 gems. I'm still not sure if that's worth it, but hey, 10 minutes for 25 gems is still not bad in the current state of game. But you know what's even better? 1 minute for 65? Math. Yeah, 65 gems in 1 minute. So let's go do that. Actually, I'm already on the right team. I don't even need to actually, no, I do want to change. I still need to go get some hero class levels on our Spirit Walker. Poor Spirit Walker's stuck at, what, 86 right now? Yeah, I'm stuck at 86. I'm slowly but surely getting this guy to 100. I'm not in any rush, as I mentioned earlier, but gotta keep poking at it, otherwise it's never gonna get there. Because this thing gets, like, no benefit at 100. I think it's, like, extra life to War Gears, which obviously, if there's any hero class that's gonna utilize it, it utilizes it the best, as it itself is a War Gear, and is from pure War Gear Kingdom. Well, pretty much pure War Gear. Actually, is it actually 100% pure War Gear? It might actually be, with how concentrated the kingdom is. But anyways, yeah, it does get to utilize it the best, but it still doesn't do that much. Like, even if you're using a pure War Gear team, the amount of benefit gained from it is rather minuscule, unfortunately. But as soon as we get this level, I'll go ahead and add a redeem code. And then probably going to be opening Vault Keys most of the stream. Similar to how we did last night. Pretty similar. Oh gosh, these things have a lot of stats. I forgot, this is the Epic Room thingy. Double Rowan, we'll take it out. And these easy ones should go down much quicker. You're going Zugoff for high levels? Yeah. I might try to show something else, because I feel like I overly depend on, like, showing Zulgoff every time for high level range. And there's still a lot of people that don't own Zulgoff. Even though it's easier than ever to get. Because one thing I'm going to try to refrain from once I have double Diamantia, or even just single Diamantia, is from shoving it onto every team ever. Because there will be a lot of people who still don't have it, even once we start covering videos on it. Realistically, a lot of people should, because we got extremely unlucky on it. But most people won't still have it, even once we get it. Because not everyone's buying it every single day. Actually, you know, I'll take these. Free 6 class XP. The reward's bad, but I need it for the class XP. Do you know what the path to the map is for the underworld? Path to the map. No, I don't think we ever know that until the day of, unless people data mine it. Because even if you check it through the Terran's World thingy, it doesn't tell you. Like, we can kind of assume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How many rooms does Delve normally have? 9 or 10? Isn't it 9? But that seems like where it is. There's room 1, 2, boss room, so it's probably 3 room or 4 room, hopefully 3 room to final, which is great. You ideally want to see a 3 room to final. But yeah, it's likely those 3, boom, boom, boom. So another 3. And then similar here, boom, boom, boom. So yeah, it looks like it's 3, 3, 3, where you start here, go 2. Over here, there'll be 3. Over there, there'll be 3. And this is probably a treasure room, and that's probably a treasure room. There's also potential that this, and this is a treasure room. And hopefully it's a 3 battle instead of a 4 battle to final room. It seems like something along those lines. We won't know until tomorrow. But if I had to guess, that's a treasure room, that's a treasure room, that's a treasure room, that's a treasure room, that's the boss room, that's the starting room. 3 rooms to final, and there's an extra room on both sides to actually get to the other locations. And that seems like the format, though we won't know until tomorrow. But based on its shape, that seems about what it is. I'll cover it in the video tomorrow once we actually know. I can see it firsthand. Because aside from data mining it, there's no way to know for sure. But based on its shape, that seems pretty close to what it will be. Oh, top 3? Or at least guess the door? No! Gosh, we have not gotten to guess the door in so long. At least we didn't double trap. Though, gosh, silence is such an annoying one. Of all the traps to hit. Angry Mob is immune, so you know what? I'm just gonna roll with it. Angry Mob has immune, Zolgov has immune. We could change hero and make that have immune too. I just don't have Leprechaun. That's fine, as long as we just focus brown and red. Because we don't really care about him getting much mana. I can't take my mana. Normally you'd Leprechaun here, but I can't because he's silenced. Gosh. I can't do anything here. If I don't pass our turn, we'll give him a skull. Wait, he didn't go for the skull. Why did you not go for skull? At this point, we just Zulk off the other one. Of course, now he cleanses the second we have full mana already. Little late. Just ever so slightly. Do you know... Oh, sorry, I already answered that. If anyone else has any other questions or anything you want me to go over, do let me know. As soon as we wrap these up, probably just grinding Vault Keys the whole time. It'll be a pretty grind-heavy stream. But if we get some shiny loots, we'll hand out some extra codes, too. That reminds me, I still need to ask Kafka for more codes this weekend. We're running low. I have enough for, like, 1 week. Oh, I didn't get the Leprechaun down. Come on, summon? Nah, no summon. He always summons at, like, the worst possible time. Like, I don't want him to summon next cast. He's probably going to. Okay, good, he didn't. Alright, that time he did. Doesn't matter though, he didn't block. Because the man actually comes through before his before the other thing blocks. It's more so if you need to do it twice. Did he get Zacian yet? No, I didn't bother getting Zacian in the other game yet. Haven't been playing it as much lately. But I'm also about halfway there. I definitely plan to before the end of the event thingy. Actually, that reminds me, I haven't even played it today. I got caught up so much earlier today. My plans for today were just all over the place. Let's see. Alright, that'll kill him out. And we're good to go. I can finally relax now. Alright, there we go. Perfect. Take that one. Take that one. Of course, now we get the buff. Always funny when it does that. Also, do we have enough to do anything here? Let me double check. How is our Dragonite doing? Oh, we're still a mile away. We need another 450. But soon, very soon, we shall get to the all-elusive dragon. The only thing we have to do now is what? Weapon plus, start crafting it. Yeah, we're pretty much there. Yeah, we own 1, we own 1, we own 0. Yeah, another 500 or so. We own, or technically 450. Which is what? That is 6, 7, 8 days from now. So 8 days from now. So next week's Friday. Unless we get lucky somewheres. In which case it will be next week's Thursday. But next week's Thursday or Friday, we will have the weapon. Which isn't really too relevant. It's kind of usable, but it's also kind of weird. I don't really see much of a situation where you would. Though it could be a Dawnbringer alternative in some situations. So, I don't know. We'll have to mess around with it a little and just kind of see. As there might be some situations where it's actually better Dawnbringer. But also a lot of situations where it's worse Dawnbringer. I don't know. We'll have to see. I've never actually gotten a chance to test the weapon. Haven't seen many people mention stuff about it. Occasionally people do, but it does seem somewhat okay. There's a lot of people probably don't have it either, similar to Diamantia itself. Which we are so close. The 1,500. Though we still need 2,500 to go for the double copy. Anyways, last other daily objective we still have. We still have a kingdom event going on, so gotta go get our 10 crowns. So we'll do that real quick with just dust level spam. We'll get our level very quickly too for our hero. And you know, I'll even use the... No, I'm gonna use the double team. We're gonna see too many of the wolves to use the single. If we only had 1 or 2 left, it would make sense. But every single time we find one of the wolf thingies, he will survive the 20 damage hit. And earlier on, we're just gonna be seeing too many of them. Like every other battle is gonna be one of them. I know, I will be handing out the code once we get the level. We haven't gotten the level yet. Soon, TM. We're so close, yet so far. We're at the point of leveling the Master Hero level, or whatever you call that. The bigger number. That, like, the next 10 battles all look like we're about to gain the level. And ever so slowly, it inches towards the already filled bar. I really wish they would show the actual XP value. I always found that weird for Gems of War. Like, the game internally tracks it. And you even get a numerical number drop for your XP. But nowhere in the game can you check how much XP you need for your next level. It's just simply a progress bar, but never gives you the actual numerical number. Oh, genies and merchants. I almost forgot you guys exist. That's hello, Clip-Bomb. Welcome, welcome. Hope all has been well, Chad. Soon, TM. 2060, 26. 2069, no. Oh, did I say take a move from the board? I think I did. I was trying to mash the cast button, and I think I just swiped a random gem. Not the first nor last time that will happen. Luckily in battles like these doesn't matter that much, though. Doing that in Guild War would be horrific, though. I have done it ever so occasionally in Guild War, though definitely not as often. You'll be dead by 2069. I never know what medical breakthroughs might happen. But probably not that soon. Anyways, we got purple there. Okay, let's go hand it the code. Let's see. Grab this little thingy. Put that right over there. And there you go. Enjoy the redeem code. Use it on gemsofwar.com for the game code section. Your invite code can be found underneath your settings menu. Whatever game says right over there is what you put in for your invite code. Give same word as always. 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, and 2,500 gold. That's not it. That's my level up bonus, but it'll appear there soon. If Isabel or someone else is claiming for us, thank you. And yeah, definitely feel free to leave a like on the stream. Helps a lot and is greatly appreciated. Anyways, let's go clear out the rest of these so we can actually go vault hunting. And then we'll hand out another code for any of the big 3. You know, there's more good drops in the big 3, but you know. The big 3 being Silver Orb, Gold Orb, or a Major Pet. And last night we actually got one. We got a Major Pet. Got a few bronze, but we're looking for silver and golds. As honestly, we're eventually going to reach a point where we don't need bronze medals anymore. Or we're mostly just going to be needing silver and gold. Unless they had some way to upgrade them in the future. You redeemed the code for me? Thank you. Yeah, someone normally always does. Which is why I stopped even like clicking on redeeming it for myself these days. Either people accidentally do it, because they think when I say the invite code thing to type in my own instead of their own. Or just someone just naturally doing it like Isabel, you, or anyone else gracious enough to claim it for us. Thank you. Hey, we got a merchant. Wasn't expecting to farm any merchants this stream, but I'll take them. Oh, no, never mind. False alarm. I'm not going to take that one. We can either waste 50,000 gold or waste, what was that, 50 or 100 gems. Neither seems particularly enticing. Oh, sorry, Tyrion. I didn't see your other comment. Tyrion, why do I always miss your comments? Oh, there it is. Oh, it was right when I posted the code. Do you have a recommendation on which kingdom to up to 20? Karkaroff or Darkstone? Yeah, I have not been able to make that decision yet. Like, between all the magic kingdoms, it's a really hard choice, because you kind of have to do it based on which one you feel like you're going to be using team synergy from. And a lot of them, they just don't have much synergy. Like, between Silverglade, Blighted Lands, Karkaroff, and Darkstone, I almost want to say Darkstone, only because Thrall exists there. But then again, but then Karkaroff has Zolgoth. It's a really hard choice. There's no right answer. Well, Zolkiri is a different color. It's green. So it's under a different category of what you would need to upgrade. But Zolkiri does have good synergy, but it's not under the purple category. But under the purple, it's definitely a toss-up between Karkaroff and Darkstone. It really comes down to, do you think Gem Destroy will get nerfed? Because if so, Karkaroff's probably the answer. Because Zolgoth is never getting nerfed from his current position, most likely. Whereas Thrall might. There's a non-zero chance they will go and give him the old boot. And as well as all the Gem Destroy troops. I'm actually surprised it's gone this long, which almost makes me think it's going to last forever. But I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. Honestly, if they don't nerf Ironhawk with the Adana rework, I don't think they're ever going to nerf Gem Destroy. Because that would have been like 2+ years of it, meaning it's probably just going to be forever. And I feel like Gem Destroy could be similar. I don't know, I'll have to wait and see. It's been a while since they've done like a big nerf. The last big nerf they've done was 2.5 years ago, back in December of 2020, I want to say? Or 2019? 1 to 2, I think it was 2020. But, so that was about 2.5 years ago. Or 2.25, whatever you say. Or is it 3.5? I don't remember. It was either 2019 or 2020, December. And they nerfed things like Skeleton Key, Life and Death. They made Skeleton Key useless. They made Life and Death 3 mana costs higher. And it's still meta, even with that change. And they tweaked a few other things, like buffing Bandit by nerfing it. I mean, nerfing... Yeah, they nerfed Bandit by buffing it. No, I was right the first time. They buffed Bandit by nerfing him. Because they nerfed him, then it made it so you could refund his trait. And now a lot of people who did that back then now have a fully maxed Bandit without Stealthy. Which is way stronger than a fully maxed Bandit with Stealthy. It's actually impossible to get him without Stealthy in the current state of the game. Which I'm not sure if that's something they're ever going to change or what. But there's a bunch of people, including myself, that have a maxed non-stealthy Bandit, which is really strong due to that one mechanic. When there's a hero class, I believe under Cunning Tree, where if an ally dies, there's like a 35%, I think it used to be 50% too, but like a 35% that you end up replacing it with a Bandit. And that Bandit not having Stealthy is generally more beneficial than it having Stealthy, for the main reason that every hero class that has the capability of summoning that Bandit has Stealthy itself, so it keeps your hero more protected. Same reason why Egg Thief summoning a tanky egg while having Stealthy makes it a really good mana accumulator. Actually, that's kind of interesting. I don't feel like Egg Thief gets used as a mana accumulator much these days. I think the biggest issue being, even though it's among one of the safest mana accumulations, mana accumulators in the game, it's not as safe because of the slower start. Like, it's a lot safer, but it is slower, I mean. And that slowerness makes it, like, almost never used compared to the extremely fast-paced mana accumulators of today. Because Egg Thief used to be really popular, and now it's, like, barely ever used, even though it's still just as strong as ever. Like, the main area you would maybe use it is still Guild Wars and such. But even then, I still feel like I prioritize Marilith. Because you get to remove all the barriers, which is nice, but it's true damage. While still having the quicker mana accumulation, because you don't have to worry about some boost ratio. It lacks the summon, but very rarely do you need it. It's a good backup still. I do wish the summon mechanic was used more in the game. Not in the sense that it was used more frequently, but in the sense that it was used more in a way that is not useless. Because I'm pretty sure, like, 95% of summoning troops in the game are pointless. Like, a good example of a good summoner is Arachne Weaver. Or Orb Weaver hero class. Like, things that can kind of do it passively, where their main mechanic is not that they summon, but they can utilize it very well when they do. Like, stuff like that are nice. Anything that has an ability that is, like, just summon, or summon with very small follow-up, like, for example, what was that one? Amnesia? Yeah, Amnesia. That one Daemon that summons, like, Inferno King. Like, in premise, summoning Inferno King is not bad. Oh, wait, one of those imps. Or Curse Gnomes, I mean. But generally speaking, summoning a Inferno King is not bad. But the rest of its abilities and traits around it is just so horrible that even though it technically has a good summon, it's never used because it's all it does. It doesn't even do enough mana accumulation to get its mana back to resummon again. And it's not like it has any other follow-up like damage or a good trait. It is simply just a small explode with a summon. But things that have that while also doing something else are pretty good. Don't mention troops you feel need nerfing. They're not gonna... I'm pretty sure the dev team watches like 3 of my streams per year. In the current state of the game, if that. Like, I highly, highly, highly doubt they have been watching most, if any of them, as of recently. They don't even stream themselves anymore. Like, when was the last time the dev team did a stream? Hello, Kafka. Kafka's not here. She has visited a couple times, though. Like, in total, I think Kafka's visited our stream, like, 12 times. Over 4 years. I'm pretty sure. Unless they're lurking in the background. But no, if they were listening to our streams, they would have implemented so many good features. that still have not been implemented yet. The worst place to do it would be to mention nerfs on the forum. That's where you should definitely not mention anything that needs to be nerfed. Because that's a location where it could actually happen. Especially if enough people complain about something. Like, they will nerf it. Or change a mechanic in the game. Dev's lurking. Lurking in the shadows. I say that and watch, Kafka will send the codes tonight. Even though I haven't sent her a message yet. I checked Discord earlier, she still hasn't sent any. Like, sometimes she just does at the beginning of a month. Other times I need to remind her like 4 times. It only takes them to watch one of my streams. Okay, so that means I need to say every quality of life change they ever need to make in the game, every stream. We'll need to keep like a master list of every positive change they should make. And mention it every single stream, every 10 minutes. Also, did I just make the dimensions off? Why does it look 1 pixel off? It is! No, how could I do such a thing? It's 3 pixels off. No wonder why it looks 1 pixel off. It's gonna drive me crazy if I don't change it. Oh, we already finished. Nay, there we go. Oh, we got a deed book too. Oh, how close is Old Carry to being maxed? Probably a mile, but... how is Old Carry doing? We got some more green deed books. How many more do we need for +1 magic? That's not where you check that. Wait, where do you check this? Over here. Oh gosh, I still need a lot. Oh, not that many, because we already upgraded to 18. So, yeah, actually not that many. Oh, it's still a lot, though. Because let's see, you have 7. 7 is 10. 10 is 8. So I need 8 more. I need 8 more green deed books. The problem is, when on earth are we going to get 8 more? Do we still have 1 more in the current Kingdom Pass? Yes. Okay, so I need 7 more green deed books to max Zol Carry for permanent +1 magic. Because that's a pretty high priority one. There's 3 that I want to try focusing on. Those 3 are Sword's Edge, as it will be the first 30-star kingdom. I will not have 30 stars upon when it happens. Though some people might. Though oddly enough, I can actually go for another star on if I wanted to. We'll see. But I want to focus on 30-star Sword's Edge. 30-star Sword's Edge. Level 20 Zolkiri. And level 20 of one of the Purple Kingdoms. Which one I still haven't determined. I think it's mostly a toss-up between Kakarot and Darkstone. And if I had to choose one over the other, I want to say Darkstone. Mostly because Thrall exists. As long as Thrall isn't nerfed yet, I feel like it is Darkstone. Because Silverglade doesn't have enough troops yet. So it's really just a toss-up between these three. Kakarot, Darkstone, and Blighted Lands. Blighted Lands hero class is abysmal. In all fairness, almost all three of these hero classes are. Actually, what is Darkstone's hero class? I actually kind of forget. Isn't it that one human-based one? Oh yeah, it was Plague. Oh, you know what? Darkstone's hero class is actually usable. It's just very situational when you would use it in the current state of the game. It's human, so it gets 50% mana start from pure human teams. It has disease 2 times over, one off a trait and one off of tree. It has high spell reduction combined with disease, which makes it really resistant to spells. Kind of like the recent hero class, but it does it through different means. And has Stone Tree, so it has Barrier Brown and all that, make it even more resistant. It's an interesting hero class. It's just outclassed by other Barrier on Browns, but it's not bad. It's just worse than others, which makes it never used. Which is one unfortunate thing within the game. That's pretty much every game. If something is just slightly less efficient than something that very similar to it just never gets used. And Plague Doctor's kind of in that situation, or Plague Lord. Where unless you want a lot of disease for some kind of weird mechanic, like gosh, what's that one guy's name? Wait, why did I forget his name? Scourge of Honor. I was about to type it in. But I was about to type in his name to figure out what his name was. And it made me figure out his name. But yeah, Scourge of Honor, like he boost ratios from disease. Technically Truffle boost ratios from disease, but he does enough on his own that he doesn't really need more. Stuff like that. Anyways, let's go do some Volkies. So we're going to open at least 50. See what we can get here. And as we mentioned earlier, any of the super drops will give out an extra code for. And we're just running it with Phoenicia since I don't have the good old Diamantia yet. So we will soon, and I can't wait till we do. That's something we'll be messing with next weekend, because I don't believe we have a big event next weekend. Let me double check, do we? What's the big event for next weekend? Watch it be Arena. Next weekend is Raids. Okay, Raids are basically nothing. That's a very quick event. Raids and Evasions both take, like, an hour to do the whole thing. Not even. Like half an hour and you're pretty much done. Hey, Major Purple. Not bad, but not exactly what we're looking for. They're going to do Puzzle Quest 3 a year since went fully live, but Gems of War stream, nope. Oh, wait, are they actually doing a stream for that? I might catch it just to see what the state of the game is. I haven't actually played the game in a year. Like, we ended up streaming the entire storyline, and then I never played it since. Pretty much. So we did play it for like a year. And then we stopped. We gave it a good solid year. Which is a little bit less than I generally play a game like that. Normally it takes a couple years for me to, like, put down a free-to-play game. Because it took me a couple years to put down Fall Guys. But they keep killing the game by not having every mode on. Like, there's actually times Gems of War has more people playing than the Steam version of, of Fall Guys. Which is kind of insane, given that Gems of War's max concurrent on Steam is like 3,000. And the similar for Fall Guys was like 100,000 something, or even more, whatever it was. Like, something absurd. Yeah, there are times when the concurrent for Gems of War is higher. Hey, we got a Volkie from our Volkie. Actually, let me go check. It's been a while since I've checked on them. What is it? Steam Charts? Steamcharts.com. Yeah, I typed in the right one. I don't know, let's do Fall Guys. What's Fall Guys at these days? How have they been doing? Oh no! Concurrent players right now, 2002-01. They have fallen from grace. But yeah, they just haven't been doing anything. I don't even think they started the next season yet, though we'll spike up when they do. Like, this is when they started the last season, I think. Given that there was a spike there, that could just been because of holidays or something. But, yeah, just haven't been doing anything. And look at, like, the concurrent numbers that go down. They just haven't been doing anything, like, at all. And Gems of War is lower, but Gems of War did not get that kind of max concurrent at launch. It has pretty good numbers, though. Gems of War's almost entire player base is on mobile. Obviously, it's on console too, but Also, it's been going up recently too, which is kind of funny. It goes like all over the place, up, down, mostly up. But also, when was the max? Yeah, look at max concurrent was only 3,000, and the max concurrent this month was only like 500 off. Technically, any month this game could just reach its max concurrent. The one weird thing with Gems of War, which I don't understand, is how has the game never gotten any advertising? I don't think I've ever seen a Gems of War ad ever. Because a lot of those like mobile-esque games, which, you know, Gems of War pretty much is, generally get a lot of ads. And it's just kind of weird because I don't think Gems of War ever has. It just seems weird because based on like 505 Games, or what owns them now? Yeah, 505 Games, right? Owns Infinity Plus 2. But, like, out of all their mobile games, I'm pretty sure Gems of War is one of their biggest, if not their biggest, mobile-esque game. I never see any advertisements for it. Though in all fairness, I don't think I've seen advertisement for any 505 game, ever. Except for maybe Payday 2. Like, way back when. A game I never bothered playing. Yeah, Fall Guys is at a lot of other places, too. But so is Gems of War. Which is one weird thing about like looking at the Steam number is it's always hard to tell based on just Steam number. Because of course with Fall Guys, it's primarily on Epic Games now as well. It's on all the other consoles, all that. And in the case of Gems of War, Steam number is very misleading because most of the player base is on mobile, and the rest of them are spread between Steam and the other platforms, or you know, other consoles. I mean. So you can never get like too accurate of a number based on Steam number. It's one of the only public numbers that you can really check for some games. It's a lot more hidden for most other platforms. Because they don't want to share their numbers. Steam is really transparent on all their things. Yeah, most of the player base for this game is on mobile. If I had to guess percent-wise, I want to say like 85% of the overall population of Gems of War is on mobile. Like 80 to 85%. And the rest is split between PC and yeah, PC and the consoles. But some people who play on mobile also play on the PC version. But there's definitely more people that only play on mobile and not a mix of both. There was actually a poll on that a while back on, that someone made on the forum. Actually, I might have even made it way back when we actually used the Gems of War forum. That's something I haven't been on in ages. I used to a lot back in the day. Similar to how the devs used to be. Like, 1 year after the devs, like, almost, like, abandoning the forum was also when I just stopped posting to the forum. Because there was a time back in the day where you could, like, reach the lead developers, like, every day of the week through the forum. Like Suri and Nimhane and them. It's like the way upper management of the game. Nowadays, you'll be lucky if you can even reach the community manager by spamming them like 5 times. Okay, we'll throw that down. I still really love the gameplay loop of Gems of War, though. I always like the more grind-based games. And Gems of War has a pretty rewarding gameplay loop. Like, for example, last weekend, we farmed a bunch during the Vault weekends. We got a bunch of the new mechanic of the Merchants and Angels, which made it even more rewarding. All the while, we were getting XP, gems, other various resources. And, of course, one of the byproducts was Vault keys. And then after the fact, we get to open them now. And this holds you off until the next Vault event, and then the next Vault event happens, and boom, whole process again. And in between all that, we have other events, new content every week, all that. Speaking of which, tomorrow we got a new faction, as I mentioned earlier. In about 5 hours from now, actually. Very soon. I'll have a video covering that, hopefully early in the morning. I plan to get this one out a little bit earlier than normal. And of course, we'll be still going through the entirety of the faction over the course of the weekend. Hope to have it done, maybe Saturday night? I'm not gonna rush it if we're not, though. But generally, tradition is to, like, grind it up a bunch, and then by, Saturday night or Sunday night, we do the 500. Pure faction. It stopped asking from going on the forum or they'll nerf everything. I can't even remember what the last post I made on the forum is. Like an actual post, not replying to something. Because I think my last reply was during the whole, like, dungeon controversy. When the dungeon rolls were weird. Or maybe it was when... Oh, you know when my actual last post was? Remember when Banmas happened for Christmas? The Merry Banmas? That was my last post, I think, on the forum, or most recent post. That would have been like 3 months ago, or 2.5. I used to post there daily. And now it's 2.5 months ago was our last post of any kind. And it wasn't even a post, it was a reply to something. Have they ever given a reason to why they can't assign medals to given teams? Yes, it's some kind of technical issue on their end. They did say that they're eventually going to solve it way back when. This was years ago. And allow us to eventually associate to them to teams or some other solution. But they have since never done that solution yet. But they did mention way back when that they do plan to at some point. It has been 2.5 years or so from now. Or since then. Which means it might be soon. Generally when they say they're going to do something, it's like 3 years later. So that means this summer they might do it. The 3rd or 4th patch this year. Around like early midsummer or probably late summer, like the August patch, will probably be it. Because generally when they say they'll do something, it's about 3 years later. And I think that was about 2.5 years ago, so it's pretty soon. It's getting ripe for them doing it. Under their normal loop of when they say they'll do something to when they'll actually implement it. So yeah, hopefully later this year. But yeah, it is kind of annoying having to set 3 instead of having it per team. Because almost everything you get to set per team. One of the most revolutionary changes that they ever did for that was when Hero was settable per team. Way back when, probably most of you don't even weren't even around back then, potentially. But Hero used to be set globally. You could only ever have one hero. So if you wanted a defend team to have a specific hero for Guild War, it had to be the same one you were actively using. Or if you wanted to switch between a bunch of them to do it for different content, you have to keep switching one single master hero every single time. You used to only have one hero set across every team, rather than setting it per team. And then, of course, like 4 years ago, or 3 years ago, whenever it was, they finally made it so you could set it per team. And that kind of revolutionized how you used heroes quite a bit. Since now you don't have to worry about if you're leveling one, that your other teams won't end up having it, or anything similar. It was a lot more convenient to change it. You could have it preset to another team, then switch to another, and then have it already ready to go when you switch back. But it ended up making heroes a lot more viable. It was also around the time that they buffed heroes like crazy. Because I think soon after that, they also did the patch where they gave heroes 10 traits instead of 3. Where they expanded the whole XP system and everything. Which drastically increased the viability of heroes. Heroes basically went from something you would barely ever use to literally every team must have it. Maybe not every team, but, most teams. Like this team we're using right now doesn't. There's actually still a lot of teams in the meta that aren't. But, like 90% of teams, since that patch, use Hero now. Because not only do you have options of so many weapons, gosh, there's like, what, 400 something now? But you also have the option of 10 traits instead of 3. Many of which are really strong. Actually, they were so strong at one point, they were considering adding a Hero Slayer troop to the game. It was never implemented, but they were considering adding a type of troop, or multiple of them, that were capable of hitting multiple extra damage on Hero to balance out how ridiculously strong heroes were. They never did implement such a thing, so there's still not like any super hard counter to heroes directly. Like basically, think of like a Raid Slayer or Tower Slayer, but for heroes. Such a thing currently does not exist. Though honestly, with how strong heroes are, I wouldn't be surprised if they reconsider such a mechanic. Oh yeah, it used to be 50 gems to change your class too. That was another issue. I almost forgot about that. Yeah, that was a whole thing. I was wondering, like, why did people not change it as much? I actually completely forgot about that too. It used to cost 50 gems. Was it per week or per day? When was the natural refresh? I think it used to be every week, but then it was changed to every day. But even when it was every day, it was still way too long. But yeah, you used to only be able to change your class once a week for free. And then it was changed to once a day. And then it was changed to infinite changes when they added the preset hero thing. But yeah, there was a point where if you wanted to change your hero more than once per week, you had to spend 50 gems every time to switch your hero. Oh, I completely forgot about that. Yeah, that was awful. Yeah, that's why I completely tried to forget about that. That was a very bad time in the game. It was literally 50 gems basically every time you wanted to change hero class. Because they wanted to, like, encourage people to only use, like, one and, you know, kind of master it and everything. But it became an issue as they kept adding more and more and more over time because, you know, every kingdom got one. And eventually got to the point where they made it one free change every day, and obviously that still wasn't enough. And then eventually they added the mechanic where you can preset hero class per team, which of course eliminated the 50 gem thing forever. Yeah, you used to have to do it every time, which is insane. Like, we've already used like 3 different hero classes, I think, to stream. That would have cost us 100 gems. Because we already would have been set to 1, or 150 if the one we were already set to wasn't the correct one. And of course now it costs 0. So where are all the good orbs? I just keep getting major ingots. And nothing else. That is the only orb we've gotten all stream is major... Oh, so, oops, I'm updating the forging number. No. Whoops. I'm updating the good number. Wait. There we go, +2 to that one. Whoops. I was updating my forging instead of my, my ingot one. Oh, so I still need quite a bit more forgings. We haven't been getting that many. Though I'm not in a rush to get them done, because we will eventually bottleneck them to the point where they become useless. So I'm not in a huge rush to get them done. Like, we pretty much have every good weapon max, so... we hit that milestone. It's more so if we just want to get all of them done for completion at this point. As every viable Doom weapon, we either already have maxed, or can immediately max the second we want to use it. Without worrying about wasting resources. Because we already have the orbs stacked up and ready to go. Oh, we got the wand again. That was the new one that they added the other week. Or at least for free to play anyways. If anyone doesn't have it yet. Actually, the other day, we got both Empress and the wand back to back. We got Empress, then the wand. Which is pretty nice. I actually needed another Empress too. There are some teams that can use double Empress. I haven't bothered messing with it. But it's definitely a strategy that can be done. I don't think it's necessarily worth doing or much needed to do, but it is an option. If you really want to go an all-in magic build. It is definitely an option. Oh, we almost already went through 50 keys. Gosh, these are melting down quick. We're smelting them into a nice big juicy drop. The Orlou has been pretty average today. Mostly just like standard good loot. Not the Cedric, mostly the gems there. Been getting the gem key drop quite a few times today. I don't think we got a 300 gem drop today. And no super good orbs either. Or any good orbs for that matter. The best we got was like a major purple so far. Which is not bad, I just don't have a need for it. Gosh, the gems we're getting are more than the unique loot. Why is Cedric still so common? That's something I still don't understand to this day. Like, what was the logic behind making Cedric so common? Like, it helps newer players, which is nice. But why keep dropping him over and over and over again? You have a whole Cedric collection. Like, it would make sense if there was, like, some kind of infinite sync that you could use them on or something similar. But his frequency is just so absurdly high relative to how many you actually need of them. Because you never need more than 8 copies. Technically 9 if you want to have 4 of him, but you never need any team that has more than 2. The only reason I say 3 is there might eventually be some kind of weird mechanic where 3 will work with them. Because you would need a gold boost ratio troop that also mana accumulates based on gold, that also damages based on gold. Currently, such a thing does not exist. They generally do one or the other. And by generally, I mean currently always. They either just do a lot of damage or do a lot of mana accumulation based on their gold value. There currently isn't one that properly does both simultaneously. That's not to say there won't eventually be a mythic that does that. I was kind of assuming Horde Mimic might get that mechanic, but they didn't give it to it. They gave Horde Mimic a pretty underwhelming ability that's very similar to Mimic's ability, but just slightly better. Because they could have made Horde Mimic like the best gold boost ratio troop in the game, but they didn't. They just made it into like a slightly better Mimic. And in some situations, actually a worse Mimic, because his mana cost is so high. And they got rid of gold armor from him. He used to have 70% reduction gold armor. They replaced it for armored instead, I believe, or whatever else he has on right now. I think it's just standard armor. Because when he first launched, he gets 70% score reduction, but now he has 25. Which was a drastic nerf to any viability you could have even remotely had. The 70% reduction with like a Devourer option, because I think he has like a 1 to 6 to Devour, is not that bad. Like obviously it's really inconsistent and would only be used for fun, but I think they mostly did that because it would have been too annoying to constantly keep getting Horde Mimic battles that would have that. I know, that's what I was mentioning earlier. We should be able to go and trade in Cedric for gold. Like, every Cedric should be worth, like, 100k gold or something. Or even just 10k, something. Oh, yeah, you also got one free hero class change when you unlocked a new hero class back in the day. Which was cheesed a lot to make sure that you could actually get a free change. Like, hero classes were added a lot more frequently back then. Because there was a point where we were getting a new kingdom like every 2 or 3 months. Of course, the current rate's about once a year. Or these days, almost like closer to 9 months. As they are becoming slightly more frequent. Actually, this might be the first year in 5 years. Yeah, 5 years. Where they add 2 kingdoms in the 1 year. Because there's a chance we're getting a new kingdom in like November or something. We don't currently know because the roadmap doesn't go that far currently. But this might be the first year in like half a decade that we get 2 new kingdoms in a year. Which I sure hope so. New kingdoms are a lot of fun. They really need to be updating more content for older kingdoms too. There are so many kingdoms that are so far behind. Like, we're getting kingdoms like Sword's Edge that are about to hit 30 star. Yet we have kingdoms that have like 12 troops total. Or like barely any at all. That are stuck at like 10 star or somewhere around there. I'll catch you later, Ricardo. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good day. Also, hello, Black Glass. Hello, John. Hello, who not hello to? Hello, Imperial. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. How many gems do you need to max the new faction? It's roughly 3,000. Let's see. It's normally tier 7 5 times, so that's 2,310, I believe. So if you wait all the way to Sunday... Yeah, I believe it's 2,310. It's been a while since I've done it. Yeah, I believe it's 2,310 to max a faction. Around there. Give or take, like, 1 tier 7. Because it really depends how many stats you want for it. I believe we have an AoE option for this faction, so it shouldn't be as hard. But sometimes you need more stats for a harder faction. As more stats have been coming into the game, that hasn't been as needed. But earlier on in the game, it might be more needed. Because one issue sometimes isn't even necessarily having the enough sigils to make it. It's having enough stats to get by whatever annoying mechanics on the pure faction. Sometimes it's more annoying than others. It should be more of a standard faction, though. It's not one of those super RNG-based ones like Alithia that we had, or not that, Ijaji's Palace. No, not that. Gosh, I will eventually say the name of the Tuesday faction we literally just had 2 days ago. Lorazza's Lair. There we go, I got to it. But Lorazza's Lair is one of those like ultra RNG ones that we just had a couple days ago. Like, that's one of those ones where you kind of wanted to like over potion or over buy on, just because of how annoying it was, and you could just brute force it. Without needing to worry about the RNG mechanic if you had enough stats. Luckily, this is not one of those. The one we have this weekend. Should we keep the new faction at 20 if we don't have any of the others at 20? You could if you want. I'm personally not going to. But, you could. We're going to be going all the way to max. But yeah, it is still viable. I really wish it wasn't. It was something I tried to get them to change, even during the beta, before it ever came out. And even more so after they released it. And then they made a change and didn't actually solve the problem. And they think they solved the problem, but they actually didn't. But level 20 factions are still better than level 500 factions. It makes literally no sense. It's one of the reasons I don't do my daily factions, if you ever wonder why. It's because doing level 20s are better than 500s. Like, they still never added any incentive structure to doing 500s after multiple years. And it was addressed to them many times by other people other than me, too, during the beta. And to this day, still has not been changed. The closest we got is, like, you can now do level 50s at a much reduced rate. But even those level 50s are not only slightly harder to do than 20s, but also less loot than 20s. Because they have a 0.5 times multiplier, whereas doing 20s have a 1 times multiplier. So you're getting 0.05 times less loot. I mean, 0.5 times, I mean. Or you know what I mean. I just said 0.05, which, you know what I mean. You get 0.5 less loot. So let's say you would have gotten, oh, another ingot. Add that to the pile. Like, let's say you would have gotten, like, a 4.0 from a, or 3.0. Let's just say a 3.0. I'm actually not sure what the multiplier comes out to these days. Let's say you would have gotten a 3.0 from doing a level 21. If you do a 50, you would have gotten a 2.5 for doing the same. Use 0.5 less. And that's per every room as well. So every single room is 0.5 less. Not just your final chest, but everything, including your final chest. It seems like you're getting less loot from factions. I don't know, I haven't seen anything different with it. It seems about the same. Though, as you progress further into the game, it might seem like less, in the sense that it's worth less. Because factions loot is not particularly good. I was hoping when they did the Deep Delve variants that they would have updated a bit more. But, they didn't. Which, is kind of weird. But they never, did end up doing so. But yeah, they never really updated the loot table for them. Which is one really big surprise with the Deep Delve update. As those chests still have pretty abysmal loot. Because a lot of the loot that you get from it, you eventually reach the point where you don't need more of it. Like, you eventually don't need any more legendary ingots, you eventually don't need any more mythic ingots. Which is why all the ingot thingies we're getting right now are so useless. You get to the point where you technically don't even need the chaos shards. Those are still, like, somewhat useful. But ultimately, they're only for treasure. And unless you're planning on, like, maxing every faction to, like, 300, 1,000, 200, whatever you're trying to get them to. Like, unless you're doing that, you really don't need more shards. Because 100 all faction is enough. And 200 all faction is very solid. And a little overkill. Anything beyond that, it's just not really needed. It'd be better invested just putting into your guild. Because very rarely do you even use those stats. Unless you're farming it as your daily faction every single day, you're only using it when the Tuesday event rolls back around. Or if it happens to get a weekend event. Because sometimes you do repeat ones for weekend events when they don't have anything else. So this weekend will be a new faction, but, you know, sometimes you do repeat ones. If they don't have a new faction. How are you 1 mana short? Why are you gonna do that to us? Gosh, I can't stop opening these Volkies. I probably should soon before I take out my whole stack. We almost opened 100 so far this stream. Like 75 I think we're up to now. Slowly but surely we shall whittle down the stack. Yeah, that's one thing I was mentioning during the beta before I ever launched. That the system was very obviously punishing progressing. And to this day, they still have not made any change. I kind of gave up on trying to convince them to do so. Gave up years ago trying to convince them. As nothing was really working. I feel like that's one of the clunkiest mechanics still in the game, though. Like how Underworld works. Because most of the rest of the games... Like, there's 2 issues, I would say, overall with the game. Like, there's a lot of things you could point to. If you really want to make an extended list. But the way that Underworld currently functions... And just a lot of loot tables in the game. It's not just Underworld, but a lot of them, just in general. And the other big one is... Gosh, I just forgot which one I was going to mention. There's definitely quite a few. Oh no, which one was I going to mention? I just had it on the top of my head, and I was saying that. I just forgot what it was. Wow, why do I forget what the other one was? There's so many to mention. If we really want to get nitpicky about everything. I should forgot what the other big one was. Can't be that big, I guess. Oh no, I don't really have too many complaints overall, to be honest. I do generally enjoy the game overall. But they do make some absurdly questionable decisions. Oh yeah, resource sinks. They do not know how to resource sink. I feel like this is an issue with a lot of free-to-play games. And luckily this isn't as big an issue in Gems of War, because worst comes to worst, they have a billion ways to get gems. As long as they never take that away. Them not having resource sink for things isn't as big a deal. But gosh, there are so many things that need a resource sink that don't have one. Most notably trait stones, but also you can make an entire list. Like that's like a whole honestly, we could just like read off the resource list. It's pretty much the list that they need to do. Like very few are sunk correctly. Like of the ones that are sunk the best, it's like all the ones up here. Like gold and gems. Really great resource sinks. Like they work perfectly. Souls, Soulforge tries to do it. It doesn't quite do it perfectly, but you know, it's okay. Glory, not as much, but you know, there's glory keys, so that's an infinite sink technically. But War Coins doesn't have one, Treasure Hunt doesn't have one, Guiltseas does. You could put it into the thing, Volkeys does. Chaos Shards doesn't. You just realistically don't need that much treasure. Curse Rune does, but they're just not that worth it. Dragonite doesn't. You do eventually reach a point where you don't need Dragonite. A lot of the orbs don't. They don't have any infinite sink that's worth doing. Obviously, some of them are going to be valuable almost forever, like pet orbs, the ones we're really hunting for the glories. Trait stones, absolutely no sink. Keys technically don't have a sink, which is why we have so many. The biggest sink for keys is when new content comes out. But because new kingdoms come out in a different way, and you can use event key for all those new things, the way they use keys is quite a bit different these days, which in the long term leads to mass accumulation of keys. Because one of the biggest key sinks in the game used to be when New Kingdoms came out, but then New Kingdoms started to not come out because of the Underworld system, which allowed people to stack, like, you know, a lot of keys. And then when they started to bring Kingdoms back a little bit more frequently, like once every year or so, like they've been, the rate at which they've been doing so is not enough to consume the rate of keys coming into the game. So keys, like the main sink of keys is mythics, but you do eventually reach a point where even that doesn't have a sink. Because I have every mythic in the game, of course. And unless we want to get multiple of each one, which some of them I might. But that's like the only other use for our keys. All the color stuff like somewhat does, diamonds does, but doesn't in post-game, oddly enough. Like, oh, you can put them into souls. Pet food doesn't have an infinite sink, and I did suggest them during the beta, too, of how they could do it in multiple different ways, and they said no to all of them. And now, what is our problem? We have too much pet food, because it was very obvious that that would happen based on the current rates of accumulation, and they didn't do anything about it, and still haven't. These don't have any infinites, but they don't, or I mean, they don't have any sinks, but they don't need any. Ingots don't have any sinks, and they desperately need one. These eventually become useless as well, but for the average player, it'll be a while before you hit that wall. Guildmate gifts are just a fun little thing. Deeds are fine. I wish they would come into the game a bit quicker, but their current rate of consumption is fine, and these are just all the past events, and verses are fine. Anyways, that's all rundown. Anyways, in other news, let's open a few more Volkeys. Also, do I even need this pet? No, we do not. This is the Ogress one. I didn't think so. This is one of the ones we got maxed from a Kingdom Legends Reborn event thingy. That's not where we want to go. Well, can I please click on the right tab? Okay, let's open like a few more. A few more Volkeys. Also, games on mobile want you to spend or spend on resources. Well, generally, yeah, most free-to-play games want you to spend a premium currency on a lot of small things, generally. And Gems of War is kind of set like that, too. There are 1.5 billion things to use gems on, which is the premium currency. But the main benefit is a lot of other mobile games also lock the premium currency behind money only. Or realistically money only, where the rate of accumulation is so slow that you can never do it as a free player. Or even as a partially paying player, you have to be like almost a whale to keep up. But I don't know, Gems of War has a nice rate where, yes, they have 1.5 billion ways to spend your gems. And to constantly keep encouraging you to spend those gems, so you constantly keep making like small purchases or whatever else. But you don't have to. Like, the rate of gem accumulation is so absurdly high through free means that you can easily just grind for them and never spend a cent. Are you really just agiling on us? Now, in all fairness, that wouldn't have actually mattered if it killed him with that skull, but... Gosh. Getting the agile there. Yeah, we'll do like 6 more keys. Hey, we're at 666. I'll take that one down, get our Splosion. That's a little Bill Warhammer. Welcome, welcome. Hey, we could tell everyone to not do Underworld factions until they fix it. Well, I've been doing that for years, so I'm one step ahead of the game. Because aside from Tuesday events and Friday events for factions, I actually never touch factions these days. The only times I even use any of my daily sigils for Underworld is to set up videos. Like if I'm showing something, like tomorrow I'll be using one of them to set up the faction for the oh, actually it won't have Deep Delve, but for the actually, what would I be setting up for? Oh no, I guess just to have one set when I click on the kingdom. But aside from like videos and such, to either display something, show something, or some other means. Because I never run daily faction these days. Haven't for years. It's really good to be doing so, like constantly as you're progressing through the game. Like you really should be doing your daily factions. But we're at the point where we've finished pretty much the entirety of faction, so we can just kind of skip on it. Kind of like how we don't really need to level hero classes other than the one that we need to go level. But ignoring that one, we don't ever have to worry about leveling classes and doing all the gameplay loops that be associated to them. Which is mostly just trying to use your hero whenever you can on any mode that gives more than 1 XP, or even just everywhere where you can. Just kind of trying to shoehorn it into teams so you get EXP passively. Which I haven't been doing as much for this hero class, but I'm also not in any rush to get it maxed. We have plenty of time to max it before the next one comes out. I want to keep going until we get one more orb, even if it's a small orb. Regardless of what number that ends on. I want to keep going till one more little red orb. And hope that it's something not useless. And then we'll end on that orb. So the best thing about the Underworld factions... let's see, Underworld factions is the pet you can get to the level 20. Yeah, it's actually pretty good. You can get a max pet from every faction. At 2,000 Renown, which doesn't even require doing any pure faction, you can have the one copy of the pet. And if you fully max a faction, you get a fully maxed pet associated to the faction. And it's actually required for quite a few kingdom upgrades. Not as much these days, because a lot of kingdoms have a lot more pets than they used to. But there are still some kingdoms that actually need it for one of their star upgrades. Where if you do not have 2,500 faction renown, or whatever the thing is called, you don't actually, you can't get the kingdom star. There's very few situations of that currently within the game, but it was a lot more common when there was less pets. That's been fixed a little bit with the whole Legends Reborn thing, as they keep adding... Like, basically, any kingdom that ever gets Legends Reborn has infinite pets. Because you only ever need to max out 4 to level 20 ever. And you get 4 from that event. Well, technically 3. Well, technically 2. It depends how you look at it. You get 2 completely for free. 1 for gems, which if you have a good reserve of gems is also pretty much free. And then there's the money one, which is not free. It is exceedingly not free. Which reminds me, that's actually the only pet I'm missing right now. Is the money pet from Fern Furnace. I actually have every other pet in the game except the money pet for Furnace, just because I didn't bother buying it. As I skip out on all of them. Actually, there was one I did buy, thanks to Isabel donating for it. But generally speaking, I skipped them all. Alright, our final orb. Anything good? Come on. Pet orb. I thought that would be a bronze for a second, but nope, just a useless orange. I keep thinking that with the orange orbs. I either think, whenever it's a major orange, I think it's a glory, a major orb of glory. And whenever it is a minor orange, I keep thinking it's the bronze token. It's such a tease. There's like half a second every single time where it's like, oh, that somewhat looks like it. And then I realize half a second later before I respond at all, it's like, oh, never mind, it's just orange. These look so similar to them when you look at it quickly. Like, not that similar, but I don't know, like these two, when you're looking at it very, very quickly, look very similar to this. I know that doesn't seem logical, but I don't know. They have the same shades of coloration. Obviously, their icon and everything is different. But when you very quickly look at this, it looks very similar to this and this. Not exactly, but for like ever so half a second, it can. Anyways, guys, wanted to hear for now. Unfortunately, really bad Volkeys tonight. Nothing particularly good, but we'll keep the grind going. Next 3 days, probably focus mostly on the faction, though. Of course, we got a brand new faction coming out in 5 hours from now. We'll have a video and all that coming out for it, hopefully soon after. And we'll go from there. And of course, tomorrow night, same time as always, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be going over the faction and just grinding through it, as we will be throughout the entire weekend. And we're going all the way to 500 Pure Faction for the brand new faction coming out. And of course, that faction being associated to the new kingdom of Volpacia, as is pretty much everything the next few weeks, as it starts to get all of its standard stuff. So we got the class the other week. We're getting the faction this week. What else are we missing? We got the mythic already. What are we still getting? Probably something, but obviously just everything for the kingdom. And of course, we still have the kingdom pass going around for the next 17 days for it as well. Anyways, guys, hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week, a wonderful weekend, and I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for stopping by as always. Greatly appreciated. And I'll catch all of you guys later. Have a wonderful week, and stay safe out there. Goodbye, everyone.